Peace, 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 family. Just getting right over here. Getting comfortable. A little cozy. It's about 15 degrees here in Memphis. So, while I'm out here enjoying the light of the day, wanted to make sure I was comfortable. Got a little Earl Grey tea. A little English tea. You know, cheers, mate. That type thing. But today we're gonna have a very interesting live. So it's a bombshell. But if y'all could just let me know if the sounds are right, we're gonna make sure y'all can hear me okay. And as y'all come in, tell me where y'all listening from, the city. If not comfortable with the city, drop the state. I like to know where we connected to. Shouts out to Why Not and the Why Not Tribe. Shouts out to Why Not and Why Not Tribe. They recently did a video with Young Pharaoh over there on TikTok. Respect. Respect. Sound good. Perfect. 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 All right, New York in the building. Shouts out to New York. Hopefully y'all ain't having no parking wars or parking lot wars, cause y'all snowed in up there. Well, we snowed in everywhere. Technically, it's kind of wild. Shouts out to everywhere on the East Coast. Shouts out to Canada. Y'all used to the cold. Shouts out to Atlanta. Shouts out to Atlanta for sure. Shouts out to Mount Vernon. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Already diving deep today, I see. It's a deep thing. It's a deep thing. T. Thomas. I'm from everything, everywhere, all at once. Shouts out to a quantum mind. We lit. We lit. We lit. We lit. We lit. We lit. Shouts out to the UK. Alright? UK in the building. Atlanta in the building. Atlanta in the building. Wow. Atlanta coming hard today. Let's go. Let's go. Reincarnation is real, question mark. Can't no one define what's real for you but you, family. Parking wars can get deadly. Big facts. Big facts. Dakota, thank you so much for the $2 gifted, family. Thank you for staying balanced in the life. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Shouts out to Puerto Rico. It's not snowing no more, but it was snowing. It was snowing. Right now, we kind of dealing with the aftermath of all the snow and all that other stuff. All right, so look. Nice jacket, brother. Love it. Where from? Thrifting. Thrifting. I'm a big thrifter. So I like to travel around to different parts of the country, world, if I can, and gather nostalgic pieces. So this is one of those good finds. So yeah. Thank you for acknowledging. Appreciate you. Yeah, greetings to you, Erica, the Enchanted. Shouts out to you. G's Ascension. Shouts out to you. I think that say Noah. Peace, peace, peace. How we living? Nah, we ain't about to guess what country you from. Be careful now. I have ice storm as well, and I slipped and hurt my wrist. Oh yeah, take it like. Here we go with connection issues. Hopefully I got it figured out. Y'all still here? Is it working? Alright, we back. Love the hair. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yes, your hair is magic. Respect. Thank you. Thank you. All right, shouts out to Chicago. Chicago in the building. And we back. We back on the live. They try to do this live real quick, but we back. Don't even worry. We back in here. We back in here. All right. So, there was a comment earlier. I dig the vibes. I drop you a sub. Respect. Thank you. Thank you. So there was a comment earlier where someone was like, is reincarnation real? I've kind of came to the conclusion that what's real to people sometimes is based on exposure. Like what a person is exposed to. That's kind of what's real to them. Cause like like the word, that start with R, but I'm gonna say grape. That ain't real to me. I've never been graped, but I know people who have. So like that's real to them. That's not necessarily real to me because I ain't experienced that. So when you ask the question, is reincarnation real? Well, did you ever experience a time where reincarnation exposed itself to you? I'll tell you something that was real odd to me. Childhood memory. I remember being 8 years old and my sister storms into the bedroom and says, "Hurry up, throw your shoes on. We're going with we're going with my friend Monica." I'm like, "Where are we going?" She says, "I'm going to take you to a flower shop." I was like, "Why are we going to a flower shop?" She says, "There's a dog that can count." I said, "What you mean a dog that can count?" It said, "Well, not only can the dog count, it could like read numbers," something like that. She was like, "The dog's magic." Anyway, whatever. We get in the car. We travel to the flower shop. It's like 30 minutes away. I'm originally from Connecticut. So I'm from New Haven, Connecticut. We traveled to like Waterbury, Connecticut. And there was this flower shop in Waterbury. So boom. And she's used to it because word of mouth was how things worked back in the day. I'm 40 years old, so we had things different back in the day. But ain't no social media, ain't no cell phones. Everything was neighborhood. Talk to each other. So she used to people showing up to the shop, and we get to the shop, and she's like, "Okay, y'all here to see," let's say the dog's name is Larry. She's like, "Okay, y'all here to see Larry." And she's like, "Yeah, we heard that he can count numbers." She was like, "Yeah." So she points to a random license plate, and she says, "Larry, read the numbers on the license plate." I swear to God, in my presence, the dog barked each number. Now, I don't know how she taught this dog this, but it said the number was 731. The dog did 7 barks. It stopped. It did 3 barks. She said, "Okay, what's the next number?" 3 barks. "Okay, what's the next number?" 1 bark. She then said, no, my sister then asked, how did your dog learn this? She was like, "Honestly, I think we were just toying around." I mean, I don't remember all the details. I was young. But I do remember this. She says, "So why do you think your dog's so special to be able to have this gift, this ability," whatever word she used? She said, "I think my dog is a reincarnated human." Now, at 8 years old, I never heard that word before. I've never heard the word reincarnation. I was born a Baptist. I was raised in a Catholic school. Neither of them two institutions believe in the ideology of reincarnation. So I was never exposed to it prior to that moment, but the moment she said reincarnation, it sat really different in my subconscious, it sat really different in my psyche, and it made me want to learn more about reincarnation. I was exposed to it. So in my world, reincarnation is very real, but I've been exposed to various situations that could suggest the possibility of reincarnation being real. Just so you know. All right, so I'm not here to tell you about my personal belief systems. I am here to tell you, though, that I do practice something called past life regression therapy. And with past life regression therapy, you can see for yourself if you believe reincarnation is real or not. The funniest thing is, it's easy to be dismissive. It's harder to be explorative. We have something on Facebook called the Memphis Community, whatever. All right. So I'm subscribed to the Memphis community thing. And I put on a community post. If any of y'all ever want to explore past life regression therapy, inbox me. I'll give you more details. Most of the people that respond were males, and most of them looked at it like a joke. Most of them laughed it off. Most of them belittled it. Most of them treated it like something that was not even deserving of acknowledgement, which is fine. But it makes me come to the conclusion that those that do explore are becoming better people, becoming stronger in experience. Those that are dismissive are just restrictive and are existing in a restrictive experience. So if you were to ask me, what do I want to get out of life? Because you only get one life if that's your belief. Well, I want to get experiences. It's one life, right? We don't get many. You don't believe in reincarnation. So if this is the one life I get, I think I deserve to experience it and go through different experiences, including seeing why my mind is storing information about the past and potentially past that I don't identify with. I definitely think that's something we got to pay attention to. I definitely think that's something that we got to slow down and acknowledge. Because at the end of the day, it's stored within our mind for a reason. It's just up to you to discover it or not. You know, your mind is a mine. Get it? You got to dig deep. There's gems inside. If you never mine your mind, you'll never discover the gems. The jewels or Jews or jewels. Electric charge. Yeah. Hit the like button if y'all like this type of conversation. If this is over your head, stick around for a while. I'm going to kind of go scripted. It may be a little easier to help people with prescriptions, because sometimes prescriptions is something that is easier for a person to handle versus just articulating themselves from the heart. I got prescriptions. Don't worry. You know, that's what people go to church for every Sunday. The sermon is prescripted. They write it the night before. Trust me, I've been raised around. I think the title is called a dean of bishops. This is someone that oversees hundreds of bishops under him. And I used to travel to this individual's home every weekend from age 6 to age 15. So I've discovered a lot when it comes to this whole pre-scripted sermon type situation. But we go to get on to today's video. Thank y'all for being patient, and thank y'all for being positive in the life. Take a little sip of the tea for a second. So, say you don't believe in reincarnation. Want me to tell you something real interesting? Your tax dollars do. Man, I'm glad I got my channel back too. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Pay attention to the subconscious communication, family. Trump puts ICE everywhere. Okay? Agents. Trump deports. Trump delivers ICE agents nationally. And now we got ICE everywhere. 26 deaths just in Shelby County. That's Memphis. 26 deaths from ICE. How many other people have transitioned over the last few days from ICE? Place ICE everywhere. There's ICE everywhere. Pay attention to the subconscious communication. Now, back to what I said. You may not believe in reincarnation. Your religious institutions, your religious dogmas, your religious beliefs may limit you from accepting reincarnation. Great. But your tax dollars very much so believe in reincarnation. Your tax dollars very much so believes in reincarnation. The CIA has leaked documents that have labeled that our souls are recycled. And death is not the end. And the fact that they have these documents out and this isn't something that's being talked about more in the collective should be reason enough for us to maybe unite against these real monsters that's not giving us the truth about what really is happening and what they've discovered and what we paid for. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of names. I got you, Samuel. You know, Samuel. Samuel. Sa, meaning sound. Ma, the mother. El, the heavens. It's the real name of Lucifer. I got you, light bearer. Give me more light. Give me more information. Give me more context. Give me more proof. But you should be enough proof every day when you look at yourself and discover that there's mysteries behind you you don't even understand. That should be proof every day. But no worries. I got you. I'll give you more proof. There are two situations that the CIA has publicly released. One is called Project Stargate. The other is called Project Gateway. These are programs that were designed between 1978 and 1995. Allegedly, they spent about $20 million a year to keep these separate projects running. They've had over 500,000 trials. And in these trials, between these two programs, they have come to the conclusion that consciousness is a non-local holographic energy matrix. They used our tax dollars to discover the secret of the afterlife, which makes sense because they have an obsession with our ancestors. This is why they were allegedly even consuming potentially mummified remains of Egyptian timelines. I'm trying to say it in a way where YouTube don't get it. You know, that's the level of obsession some of these individuals had. So if you don't think that they've had an obsession, the CIA, which is an extension of the Thule Society, which was originally created because of Hitler's Thule Society and the Nazi regime. It's why these operations are in business till today. And they're actually a part of the Third Reich, allegedly, because some of them were brought over during Project Paperclip. You can look these things up for yourself. Sometimes you have to do a little work when it comes to discovery. I know we got real comfortable on these platforms. Everyone throws up all these images and throws up all these things, and there's the way of breaking you up. And I don't want you to break from this conversation. We're going to stay strong. We're going to get through this. It's going to be about an hour-long convo, but we're going to stay strong. We're going to push through the convo and not have a tons of distractions of clips and images and etc., etc., etc. So research these things for yourself. Project Stargate, something for you to do. Your mind can now say, damn, I can take this information and do something with it. Not just I took this information on to the next. No, this is not on to the next kind of channel. Research. Project Stargate. Use ChatGPT if you need to. Project Stargate. Project Gateway. These two programs have allowed them to come to the conclusion that they believe that consciousness, aka the soul, is a non-local. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying with non-local. All right. You have a DVD. You put the DVD into the DVD player. You hit play. That is considered local consciousness. It's just to give you an example. That's considered local consciousness. All right? You're adjacent to it. You're close to it. It's local. You're right there. You can touch it. You can taste it. You can bite into that DVD if you want to. That's the idea of local. All right? You can grasp it. But then you have non-local. So you have the word analog. That's local. And then shouts out to Japan. I can't wait to come to Japan. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to come to Japan. And if you follow this channel, please hit me up because I would like to come to Japan and you can show me a little bit about Japan. Please, I'm so serious. Shouts out to Japan. Turn the heater off. Alright. So the word we use to describe local would be analog. Alright? Tape players, CD players, anything you have to insert, eject, alright? Food, that's analog. Alright? This is all analog. Thank you for the sub. Alright? Non-local would be digital. Like, you have Home Alone on DVD. Alright? Now you got Home Alone on digital. Well, where it's originally stored is not near you. You don't even know where it's stored. Home Alone could be stored on a data drive in space. They could be projecting Home Alone from Paramount from a satellite. This is what I'm saying. Non-local, it's digital. Alright? But it doesn't mean it's not local somewhere. See, this is why I want you to really slow down and process what I'm saying. Just because it's non-local doesn't mean it doesn't have a location. You with me? That's important. See, people think digital and they're just instantly think, oh, damn, it's unattainable. No, that's not it. It's just you got to find the analog source. There's still an analog source. It's just there's a digital buffer there. All right? Okay. So, these individuals came to the conclusion that our soul, that our consciousness is a holographic energy matrix. All right. A hologram is empty space. All right. A holographic energy matrix means that we will be tapping into what we call 0-point energy or ether. That's sometimes another term or definition. It would basically, another word would be we have an etherical soul. Saying you have an etherical soul would be the same thing as saying I have a holographic energy matrix. In essence, you are somewhere else. And you are projecting yourself. Okay? That's what a holographic energy matrix means. It's a fancy word for you are a projection. The CIA just dropped files, you can look it up, that use terminology like recycled soul, like non-local holographic energy matrix. They call this a quantum field. They say survival of physical death. No, you do not end, but you transfer to new forms or new realms. I'm just reading you what the documentation says, all right? Now, I do regression work. I can show you some of these things yourself if you ever took a chance on experiencing those. But I understand it can get uncomfortable, nervous, exploring your mind. Oh, God forbid I do the one thing I have control over. I do everything else. I'll fucking hop on a roller coaster. I'll get in someone's elevator. Shit, I'll get in someone else's car because I didn't create it. But the one thing I got control over, which is my mind, I'm scared of it. Y'all don't get it? I'll be confused. I'll be like, why y'all do that to yourselves? That's a dangerous game to play because your body is paying attention, whether you think it is or not. Your body is fully engaged, fully aware of how you are treating yourself. And remember, your mind is a part of your body. So how you treat your mind, your body's paying attention to. I'll go to Disney World. But I ain't go. But my mind, ooh, gets scary. All right, Virgin Mary. So they use the word transfer to new forms or new realms. Proof we do not die. Immortality unproven. But data from over 50 revived NDE subjects, all right, in these programs, they were very specific about using certain hallucinogenics and or other applications to bring people into NDE experiences, near-death experiences, and then they monitor what happens. So they revived 50 individuals, all right? 50 individuals. They also had, thank you so much for the $5 gifted family. Thank you for staying balanced in the life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They hacked my channel a couple weeks ago. They hacked my AdSense, so I'm literally 2 months behind. So I really do appreciate it. Yeah, like I really, really do. Like they really got me over this time. But I'm pushing through and I'm figuring it out. And I'm saying that because I really want y'all to understand this $5 really helps me. It's not like some, yo, hey, thank you for the $5. Like, no, you're keeping the lights on right now. I appreciate you. That type energy. Just so you know. All right, let's keep it going. So they use these abbreviations, NDEs. Remember, that's a verb, that's a terminology or a verbiage you want to start storing if you're interested in exploring the realm of reincarnation or in the realm of the afterlife, because these are terms that now start to apply to that science. All right, NDEs, near-death experiences. Let's hit them like buttons though. It's 130 something people in here. Let's at least get to 70 likes. It's only 4 more. That's only 4 more. I don't know what y'all doing right now. If y'all could just stop, pause, take a breath. Acknowledge yourself before you acknowledge me. That's important. Stop, pause, acknowledge yourself. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being strong during this live. Thank you for being strong during this channel getting hacked. Thank you for being strong during an ice storm where people were being stuck in a house and you had to drive out of your house to help people who were literally stuck and couldn't even get to the emergency room. Like, I really appreciate you. Like, I really thank you. Like, I really honor and appreciate you. Thank you for staying strong. Thank you for being almost 40 years old and still staying strong, still staying resilient, still staying agile. I feel like I could do, I'm out there playing basketball with 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds. I'm at a gym. My point is, I really just thank you. I really do appreciate you. You are, 10 years ago, I didn't even think I was going to make it past 33. I just want y'all to really understand that. I want y'all to really understand that 10 years ago, at 29 years old, I did not think I was going to make it past 33. I promise you. I was doing very toxic things. I had no support. I had no help. I was in a dark place. I was in a dark space. But I believe that something different could happen. I saw a hand raised. You got a question? Thank you so much for letting me have my little rant. Thank you. I think your hand was raised. If you got a question, drop it. But no worries. We go keep it going. All right. So they have 50 plus revived subjects. They have 500 plus remote viewing sessions. Thank you so much, Carl Scott, for the $5 gifted family. Thank you for staying balanced in the life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for keeping this channel going. Thank you for keeping this channel up. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your presence. Just thank you. Remote viewing, they have 500 sessions. Now, when it comes to remote viewing, they've only had a 15 to 20% success. This is why they disabled the program, because many people often come to that conclusion. If these programs were so quote-unquote successful, if these programs were so quote-unquote helpful, then why don't they have the programs anymore? Well, for example, in many of their remote viewing sessions, they only had a 15 to 20% success rate. But remote viewing is not the same thing as what happens when you transition, just so you know. But a remote viewer can access or pierce into the afterlife. All right. So this is why they also wanted to include remote viewing a part of the investigation. Now, this program spent millions of dollars to investigate 2,500 people. And these 2,500 people all had proven cases of reincarnation. And based on those 2,500 people that they did studies on, now let me help you understand how the CIA will work. Say a person's in the hospital and say, boom, all right, they come back from a near-death experience and they're talking about what's happening. Say they're in a place where Princeton isn't too far away. They'll send someone connected to the CIA with Princeton to the hospital and be like, hey, we're doing a study with Princeton. We're studying NDEs, etc., etc., etc. They always make it seem like it's a school involved. It ain't like the CIA knocking on your door, nor is the Men in Black knocking on your door. They use their subsidiaries. They use the other situations that are associated to them to kind of get this information and get this research. The same for like reincarnation stories. Children between the ages of 1 and 7 that have miraculous reincarnation experiences, they put them in programs. Now, some of these programs got extended into something you could refer to as the GATE program or the grant program. Now, kids that are part of the GATE program, well, Candace Owens and etc., etc., you start to see that the GATE program is a special group of individuals because they put some of these reincarnated souls into the GATE program. Now, if you were really fortunate, you were part of the grant program. Now, let me ask you this question. Many of you have heard of the GATE program, right? If you heard of the GATE program, drop an emoji. If you really fancy, drop a door emoji or a gate emoji. But I'm really, truly interested. It's 130 of y'all in here, 88 likes. How many of y'all heard of the GATE program? I promise you at least 10 of y'all heard of the GATE program. Let's see right now. All right, there's one. There's one. Care Jacobs. All right, that's one individual that said they heard of the GATE program. All right, Sunflower. All right, that's the second person that's heard of the GATE program. Be honest though. I want to know if we've at least got 10 people in the room that's heard of the GATE program. All right, Johnson still heard of the GATE program. Cosmic Visions heard of the GATE program. Kara, what you heard about the grant program? Let me know. Back to the Future. Hell yeah, G. There's another one that's heard of the GATE program. Nicole heard of the GATE program. Blue Horizon heard of the GATE program. Adams heard of the GATE program. Zuli heard of the GATE program. Queen Teller Carter heard of the GATE program. Ace heard of the GATE program. Tina heard of the GATE program. So we passed 10. But simply put, all right, first let's do this. All right, question. Have you heard of the GATE program? I just want to know what chat says the GATE program is. The Gateway program, often called the Gateway Experience, was a CIA studied consciousness training system from the late 1970s into the 1980s, potentially early 90s. It wasn't the CIA creating mysticism. Why you go jump right into that? I didn't even ask that. It was them testing whether altered states of consciousness could be used for intelligence, perception, and human potential. The CIA evaluated a program developed by Monroe Institution that used sound frequencies, aka binaural beats, to synchronize the left and right hemispheres of the brain. This is called hemisyncing. So basically, they grabbed up a group of children and used biohacking tools or biohacking abilities to get both brain, to get your left brain and right brain in sync with each other. I want you to also understand that the brain is also polarized. So you have something called the masculine brain and the feminine brain. The masculine brain is the left side of the brain. The feminine brain is the right side of the brain. The left side of the brain governs the right side of the body. the right side of the brain governs the left side of the body. Most people are right-handed, male dominant. This is why the feminine part, the left side, gets suppressed, because that's the right brain. That's why they be like getting your right brain. It's a deep thing though. You gotta understand. So when you synchronize them, this is almost like androgyny. This is almost like going back to Lucifer. It's almost like a Luciferian ritual for them because their god is an androgynous being. So they trying to make all the bodies androgynous. That's a whole nother conversation though, if we really want to go with the real reason why they're creating these things. But the whole goal or purpose of this is to unlock the ideology of androgyny. Basically to make a person both masculine and feminine or gender neutral so that it could be similar to their god, which is potentially mechanized, a machine. And if it's a machine, then it's gender neutral as well, if it even could have a gender. So the GATE program is a very, very interesting situation because basically they use taxpayers' money to gather up children that they thought were unique and special. Now, the secret about the GATE program that chat will not tell you is that through Project Pegasus and Project Looking Glass, they were able to look into the future. So technically, they use holographic technology to recreate possible futures. So in the 50s and 60s, they were obsessed with seeing into the future. When they looked into the future, they saw that there are a group of individuals that are very influential in the future timeline. These influential individuals, and if you don't believe me, that's the whole concept of Terminator, that in the future, they started to monitor the past to see people that were extremely influential towards the future. Well, you do the same thing in reverse. You're going to go into the future, look into the future to see who are the people in the present that are going to influence the future. Once you then create a database of all these individuals, you then try to get their parents in military positions, which it was helpful because a lot of the people in the Gateway program were military based. Because then whatever you're going through, you can't even tell them to your friends because we're moving your ass around a lot. You ain't even in one place. It's pretty strategic how they did all this. So now they're moving everybody around like chess pieces, and they're building profiles on these super beings, these meta beings, these hemisync beings, which is a superhero superpower within itself. And then they put them on like dormant mode, and they wait for them to be activated again in the 2020 timeline, which is what we're in now. And the whole goal is to activate them in the 2020 timeline. But I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right there. Stop right there. We ain't even gonna keep going. We go. Can't tell them everything. You can tell them a little bit, but you can't tell them everything. But then there was the grant program. And this is what I was a part of. The grant program was a government-funded, grant-based psychic research that was carried out between the 1970s and 1990s. These programs was funded by the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, with an extension of DARPA, by the CIA, by the Army Intelligence, using research grants to universities. The specific one I went to was Yale University, labs and private institutions. The grant program equals a CIA program where they paid people to study psychic abilities. And there's many different programs. There's the Stargate program, which is what I'm talking about right now, that had a lot to do with remote viewing and non-local perception. This is how they came to the conclusion that the soul is recycled and is a non-local matrix. They then had another practice called the Grill Flame. This is, in essence, Army's psychic unit. This is the men who stared at goats, if you've ever watched that movie. You got Sunstreak, which is a continuation of Grill Flame. You got Center Lane. Center lane is an intelligence focused psychic perception. This is the continuation of the grant program. In order for me to be on the center lane, I would have had to go to a private boys' school for high school that I got accepted in. I just didn't want to go. And it blew my mind because I applied to like 6 different private institutions, and the one that was an all boys school gave me a full scholarship. It was like, hey, come on, come to our program. And I looked at my father like, I don't want to be around all that sausage. I'll just be honest. And he laughed, but he understood. Like, he was like, all right, I don't blame you. Like, I didn't want to go to all boys school for high school. The fuck I look like. So I would have been in center lane if I followed the path. And how it works is they get you into center lane, and then they get you into a college program, and then they get you into some type of job where you are doing something on behalf of them, and you're basically a part of the CIA operation your whole existence until you're activated. Now, I'm not going to talk about activation too much, but activation is a very important thing. They're not having all these programs and all these. Think of it like this. It's a program. Programs lay dormant until you need the program. It's like there's editing software on your phone right now. You don't use it because you don't edit. But the moment you start editing, guess what? That program gets activated. You need that program. You need that editing software. So it's just based on, I guess, alignment. And when certain things fall in alignment, the program gets activated. But if y'all don't know the different programs, how are y'all going to figure out the activation? That's why I want people to start tapping into and start researching and looking into these things, because then you can understand what program is being initiated. All right, let's keep going. So, declassified intelligence research from the Central Intelligence Agency showed us that U.S. government programs seriously investigated consciousness, death, and whether awareness survives the body. These programs were not spiritual initiatives. They were strategic research effects tied to intelligence gathering, defense programs, and human advanced program protocols, or human performance. The conclusion across decades of studies was simply this: that consciousness does not end at death, but that it, you ready, detaches. This is a very important word I want you to understand. Detaches. Now, in order for you to detach consciousness, this is the whole concept of the light. Don't step into the light, Carol Ann. Don't step into the light. How does she know about that? How is she a specialist on the afterlife? Because she was an extension of the dual society. Y'all are not understanding this dual society, and it's very important for you to understand the concept. I can't even say certain. I hate that I can't say certain stuff. But the idea is there is a large Men in Black system. All right, you know when they Men in Blacked you in the movie and you then forgot everything that just happened to you? Well, imagine if there is a human, all right, that said, you know what? I don't want to just walk around with this in my pocket. We want like a large machine. And anyone we put through this machine, they lose their consciousness. Actually, you know what? Maybe the large machine was the precursor to the little one that they travel around with now. So maybe this is an older tech, all right? So this large machine erases your memories. So they've came to the conclusion that the first thing that happens is that you are detached from your consciousness, aka you go through a memory loss program. Once you lose all your data, you're then transferred. And you're transferred to a potential realm or body. Now, the reason why I say realm is because they're not allowed into the realm. So they just know that it went into a realm, but they don't know what that realm what that realm involves. So they've only came to the conclusion, damn, it goes into a realm, but we don't have the details on that. But we do know it goes into a body. So technically it goes into a body, into a realm, or it goes into another body here. Taxpayers' money. And it continues in what they refer to as a non-local state. How did this research get started? During the Cold War, both the United States and Russia believed that non-physical intelligence advantages could determine geopolitical dominance. All right? They basically wanted to figure out how to gather intelligence without being physically there. So remote viewing, you know, where are they hiding this mission base at, and this, get it? They wanted to use people to try to discover and gather intelligence. They want to use people to store intelligence. Let me give you a special data transmission that you're supposed to mentally deliver or body deliver, I guess. Let me store this in your mind. You won't remember it. And then someone can extract it from your mind and you won't remember it. You know, Manchurian candidate. All those things they started researching. So in that, they came up with questions. All right. The first question: can awareness exist independently? Oh, can awareness exist independent of the body? First question they had. Next question: can information be accessed without a physical presence? Can the mind detach from time and space? Does death terminate consciousness, or is it relocated? And they wanted to know if consciousness could operate outside the body, at great distances, beyond borders, and beyond physical containment. This is what they discovered. The documents repeatedly describe this, because it's a lot of documents. One, our consciousness is most definitely non-local. Two, it's field-based. This field is called an electromagnetic field, an EM field. You would not have your consciousness without your EM field. It's also known as your arc field, your aura. There's many different terms in different cultures to describe this same concept. I'm reading notes that I've had to gather from all of these articles that I was researching over the last week or two. I'm reading my notes. All right. The documents repeatedly describe this simple idea that consciousness is non-local, that it's field-based, and that this field produces a holographic presence. This holographic presence gives off a biofield. There you go, Nicole. Gives off a biofield, and this biofield produces energy. This energy is not produced by the brain. It's produced by the biofield. So they've came to the conclusion that we sit here and give all this attention and pressure on the brain, like the brain is doing something special, when it's in reality the heart that is very special, because the heart is the thing that's producing the sound necessary to create a field. They do not consider the brain a generator. You did a super chat, K-Joe? We ain't never got it. I don't know why that's happening, bro. The super chat's been working all day. Not sure why it's happening like that, bro. Yep, aura equals biofield. What dimension is the field? Well, that's a great question. The field can have evolved dimensions. The field is based on... It's based, okay. The average EM field is 6 by 6. All right? 6 feet wide. It's like a box. All right? 6 by 6. 6 by 6 by 6. 6, 6, 6. This is why during the vid, everyone had to stay 6 feet apart. Because they knew that that the planet, the earth, the all this stuff that was happening was now coming and mushing together in a quantum entanglement. And they did not want us to be entangled with this. This is why we feel well, I don't feel disconnected. This is why some people feel disconnected from the reality right now. Because they're not meshed in with the reality that's really happening right now. Everything kind of came together in sync, in a synchronized situation, while others were separated purposely. Purposely. So in that separation, this is also spiritual. So the concept is, the more empathy you discover, in addition, this is important, in addition to awareness, aka consciousness, aka information, all right? Through the combination of intelligence and emotions, you expand your EM field. And you can expand your EM field into other dimensions. What do you think the little white boy from The Sixth Sense was doing? I see dead people walk around looking at Bruce Willis all day. He extended his EM field into the dimension of death, or the fourth dimension, or into the D wave, the death wave. So you also have to understand these are like frequencies more than like places. They're like frequencies that change your place. Like your space changes based on the frequency. The dead show up in your space based on the frequency. So you have to understand the importance of influencing your EM field and protecting your EM field and discovering the holes in your EM field and what has attached to your EM field. They did not believe that the brain was a generator. They believed that the brain was a receiver and a limiter. Now, before I keep going, I need to pause. I got to make sure that anyone who's kind of helped me on this live via Cashapp gets acknowledged, because sometimes I'm moving too fast and I'm not able to acknowledge the people that need to be acknowledged. So, Lotus, thank you so much for the give and receive. I received it. Thank you so much. Sarita, thank you so much for the give and receive. Receive, thank you. Lori, thank you so much for the give and receive. Thank you. Elvira, thank you. Thank you, family, for the give and receive. Thank you. And last but not least, Paula, thank you. Thank you so much, Paula, for your give and receive. It is extremely helpful at these times. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, let's keep going. Let me do my job. Y'all showed up. Y'all keep showing up. So let me make sure I'm showing up too. Let me keep myself accountable as well. So, I also believe this as well. Based on doing 3,000 plus regression sessions, based on kind of like helping a person explore their mind 3,000 different times, I've came to the conclusion the same thing. And basically what the CIA did is the same thing I'm doing. That's why it's funny, because it's like these are programs that they spend billions of dollars on, and you have someone in front of you that can help you get in the loop, like to get in the know of what's happening. So, but I really think it's fearful. Understand, a lot of the people who follow this channel and have been with me on this journey have gotten regressions. So I'm not talking to the people who've gotten regressions. I'm talking to people who haven't gotten the regressions. The people who have gotten regressions have learned the power of regression and are on this channel because they understand how deep these things go. Just understand that. You're not like on a channel where ain't nobody had these experiences. No, tons of people had these experiences. Thousands of people had these experiences right through this channel. All right. So they believe that when the brain shuts down, the signal does not disappear. it exits what they call the physical interface. Process this, family. What enters your face? What on your face? What enters your face? Slow down. It's a body part. What enters your face? I'm not talking about what you eat. I'm talking about in the creation of your body. What enters the face? I'm not talking about food. Wow. Your eyeballs, family. Your eyeballs. Your face is a skeleton structure. These are organs. These organs gotta grow. They gotta enter your face and grow. It's the eyeballs. These are the interface. And when they close indefinitely, that is then when the brain signal goes somewhere else. Interface. This is why they were trying to get our eyeballs right now, family. VR headsets and Meta glasses and Apple Smartwear glasses. This is all about the eyeballs, the interface. This reframes death as more of like a transition and not an annihilation. Now, I said that they use something called NDEs, near-death experiences, to get this context, to get this information. Subjects who were clinically dead, all right, no heartbeat, no measurable brain activity, and a flat line on the EEG. Now, keep in mind, in order for you to be clinically dead, these are the three things that have to be present. So there's no heartbeat, there's no measurable brain activity, and they flatlined. Despite this, subjects later reported viewing their bodies from above, observing medical procedures accurately, entering tunnels or voids. Now, I've experienced this quote-unquote tunnel. I have not experienced the void, but I have been around individuals that have tried different hallucinogenics, and they went into the void. A very popular thing now, K, I'm not going to give the full name. This gets people in K-holes, which is a void. All right? So, what is the light? AKA this tunnel. Well, I've explained this procedure before, but I'm going to say it again. My poor bonsai, poor little bonsai. It's been so cold. It's been so cold, bonsai friend. I'm going to get you right. We're going to get you right. We're going to get you right. Oh, I ain't cut my hair, y'all. It's all back there. It's all back there. All right. So this is how the tunnel of light works. You ready? You ready? Here we go. All right. Right now, you are rotating around a space. But you're rotating, but everything's like rotating with you. So you ain't getting dizzy. You ain't realizing you're rotating. So technically, you think you're staying still. So let's just say you're still. All right? The moment your consciousness is taken from this space, the space around you, everything you see around you, this, everything your eyeballs is absorbing, it stays stationary while you are ripped, flown through a new space, through a new time. So because everything around you stationary and you are being pulled from your existence, everything around you creates a streak. See, you don't see it. See, it's a streak. You do it fast enough, you can't even goddamn identify it. You don't even see my eyes. See what I'm saying? I mean, you get what I'm saying though. My point is, that tunnel is just everything that's around you. That's it. You're being plucked. You're being taken from one space to another space, and everything in this space is stationary, but you're not. So you're being ripped, and it creates this light or tunnel all around you. But in reality, it ain't that. It's just you're going somewhere else. That's your tunnel. Everything around you stationary. And it creates a streak of light because you're moving so fast. Hopefully that makes sense. Other individuals mentioned that they experience additional information. So basically, imagine being informed on things or having awareness of things that you were never aware of or informed of prior. For example, like a past life. You have a near-death experience, and now you have memories of 4 more lives, not just this one. And now you're coming back from that and saying things like, I had an experience in Egypt, I had a past life, blah, 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 blah. All right? So these are people who are encountering more information than they had before they transitioned or had an NDE. Here's one of the most common factors of people who experience NDEs. A 40 to 50% increase in paranormal activity. These individuals, just 2,500 people they watched. Of these 2,500 people, 40 to 50% had an increase. Or no, of the 2,500 people, they all increased paranormal activities 40 to 50%. Now, there's a movie called The Frighteners. There's a movie called The Frighteners. This explains a little bit about what I'm talking about. He had an NDE, watch the movie. Alright? But it basically shows you the idea that individuals who have NDEs can sometimes have heightened paranormal activity. Alright? Now, life reviews were emotionally centered, not fact-centered. Subjects did not review achievements. They reviewed how they affected others emotionally. Many returned with reduced fear of death, personality shifts, increased empathy, and new knowledge or insight. Hold on 1 second. All right, let's get through it. All right. Remote viewing experiment shows subjects accessing information from distant locations without any sensory input. So basically, they would grab up individuals, they would tell them numbers, which were latitudes and longitudes, and 73.04579, 64.75999. And they would have them look at these numbers, and then they would tell them what they feel or what they see from this. So from them doing this, they've developed a 15 to 20% accuracy. That's not bad. Imagine if humans trained that ability. Imagine if we like re-encourage that. We may have a stronger remote viewing. Basically, they were able to pinpoint it's a mountain, it's a forest, it's a village. 15 to 20% accuracy. That's not bad. I could just imagine if it was harnessed. Now, if you want to think about, is that even something that was ever exposed to us? That a government would support that type of behavior openly? Well, if you watch the movie Starship Troopers, in the movie Starship Troopers, they had a psychic program. It basically took aliens, it took big ass men in black bugs to get the government to openly allow us to now use taxpayers' money to increase human abilities. Imagine what type of world we would have if we didn't use the money towards war necessarily, but we used the money towards advancement, human advancement, not mechanized advancement. Not get it? It could be beautiful. All right. These subjects had sensory-rich perception, emotional detachment from the body, awareness existing outside of themselves. So even in some of the remote viewing cases, they've discovered that you can enter another person's body to observe certain things. I've worked with a couple people in the past. Not recently, but in the past. I used to be willing to try some interesting stuff. You'd be surprised what the brain could do, y'all. Yeah, especially on hallucinogens. What if I was to tell you that I won't say that. Never mind. Now, let's get into the Gateway program. The Gateway program is essential in the Afterlife program because the Gateway program discovered this. Using binaural sound frequencies, subjects entered altered states where the body awareness dissolved, time perception collapsed, consciousness phased into non-physical environments. Subjects described entering a timeless state. Remember I said it's about bringing a frequency into your space, your aura, your EM field. It's all about really reconfiguring your EM field. You are a world. You are a universe. And your world or universe can get other worlds or universes to match you. There is a world or universe that is timeless, meaning that the individuals in those worlds or universes don't age. Now, if you've been following mythos and stories of gods from Zeus to Odin to etc., 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 these are timeless gods. Another word for timeless is immortal. So the Gateway program individuals were able to tap into a timeless state. And now if you start looking at some of these individuals a part of these Gateway programs or grant programs, they don't age the same way as everybody else. Unless they allowed their EM field to go back into a time state. But it wasn't like they weren't exposed to it. These subjects were exposed to a realm, a dimension of immortality. Not only did they enter a realm of immortality by hemi-syncing their brain, so basically by synchronizing the left and right brain, they entered an immortal state. Not only did they enter an immortal state, They entered what would be considered heavenly structured realms. This is what the CIA wrote. Now, I don't know what they perceive to be heaven. They said heavenly. That these children entered heavenly structured realms. Now, some could call that Agartha, some could call that Shambhala, some could call that the Anunnaki ships, because if you ever pay attention to like Star Trek, they got like super fancy ships where it's everything you could ever imagine on these ships. They're universities, etc., etc. Yeah, you know, it could be any of these things. Here's the craziest part. Once they hemi-synced their minds, individuals showed up. Altered intelligence showed up. And not only did this altered intelligence or guide showed up, they started interacting with them. And not only did they interact with them, they received information from them that they previously did not have. From that, they realized that consciousness is fundamental. The body is temporary. Now, not only did they have the GATE program studying the children, they then had the 2,500 documented cases of the reincarnated children. They basically observed children between the ages of 2 and 7 recalling previous lives. They had the specific names, places, and where they died. They had birthmarks matching the fatal wounds of previous lives. Phobias from previous deaths match current phobias. And talents from previous deaths have appeared in their current incarnations. They also came to the conclusion that memories fade by the age of 7, as identity and cognitive filters solidify at age 7. Now, if you pay attention to the indigenous, we always said something very, very common. The body recycles every 7 years. The body goes through cycles every 7 years. So the first cycle of one's body is the first 7 years. Once you go through that cycle, you identify with the next cycle. And those are usually the teen, the preteen, the programmed self. All right? So this suggests memory transfer occurs, but is gradually suppressed by neurological development. Now, I then did a part emotional memory versus fact memory, because this is very important. Things that we consider facts don't stay with us. So I know y'all go so hard on factual memory, but them ain't your facts. You didn't experience them things, so you're not going to hold on to that. You're doing all this research, all this hard work, all this extra stuff you doing to be factual. It don't even stay with you. Factual memory leaves. It fades. But emotional memory stays. So across all their research streams, they realized that emotional memory is more persistent and more reliable than factual memory. Why? Because emotional memory holds on to really strong things like fear, love, guilt, attachment, desire, desertment. Things that fade, your name, dates, surface stuff. This implies consciousness stores emotional imprints, not linear narratives. Now, I researched the documents. They never use the word immortality, because immortality is more of like a religious sense. But they said this verbatim. Here's the recycling model. There's physical death. There's consciousness detachment. There is entry in a non-temporal review field. TVA. From the review field, it sparks emotional integration. From emotional integration, you bring your emotional integration with you, and it transfers to a new form, body, and or realm. Energy is not destroyed. It's only reorganized. This is what they wrote. Consciousness appears to be a cycle. It does not end. Now here's then when they go to something even bigger. They call this the absolute field. And when this word kept coming up in these documents, this absolute field, this absolute field, this absolute field. What is this absolute field? The absolute field is the place where the gateway children went to. The immortal realm, the timeless realm. The absolute field is what they refer to as heaven. And they consider there's a strategic pattern or strategy that must be initiated to enter an absolute field. And if you do enter the absolute field, you will be considered an infinite consciousness. You will be considered a timeless consciousness. You will be considered a non-spatial consciousness, which means you do not associate to the rules of gravity, space. You also become a consciousness that contains all information. They do not believe this to be someone individual that gains this ability, that any soul can enter the absolute field. The absolute field is what you refer to as God. But there is a specific order to get there. And when they discovered that they are, let's say, there's a line to the absolute field. All right? And everyone grabbed a ticket. Now, those who've lived on this planet and have reincarnated on this planet over and over again, they got older numbers or newer numbers. So they're holding on to 1, 4, 10. You know, they're getting called up next to enter the absolute field. But then there was a new race that emerged. And this new race, this colonized race, this, according to Dolores Cannon, this NPC race, this Cabbage Patch race, emerged around the 1800s, and they have like number 7 billion. So they're like, what do you mean we're number 7 billion to be called into the absolute field? Fuck that. We're going to create our own absolute field right here on Earth. Because how dare y'all keep us from the absolute field? So they've decided to go against their creator for being created last, or being the newest creation. And they're revolting against their creation by trying to bring an absolute field here. Y'all following? I'm going to slow down for a second. Are y'all with me? I don't like talking to myself. Last comment was 22 minutes ago. I don't even know if y'all still here. I see the numbers. 150, 160 people here. But y'all still here? Did the chat, y'all disappear? What's going on? Man, they gonna limit y'all whole chat. I'm seeing it here now. Hold on. Alright, here we go. Here we go. We back. We back. We back. We back. I see you now. I see you now. I ain't see these super chats. Thank you so much for the $5 gifted, family. Thank you. Thank you. Kojo, I see you now. Thank you, Kojo. Thank you. Thank you for the gifted. Thank you. Thank you. What if it was a figure of speech? Maybe timeless was a metaphor. Okay, now I see y'all. Drop a like, family, to show we here. There we go. I was like, I disappeared. Now they are buffering you. Oh, man. So it ain't working. We good? We good? We gonna keep going. Okay, I'm good. All right, let's keep going. So look. When they discovered the absolute field in the 70s, they got nervous. Because they said, how are we going to let another species reach heaven, reach the absolute field without us? You know the saying, misery loves company? We're up next, the indigenous. And that's not a race thing. It's a connection thing. It's not a race thing. It's a connection thing. We've helped the planet numerous times. You sacrificed ourselves for the planet and the people on it. Tons of times. We're up next for the absolute field. And now on some, yeah, right. You think we're going to let y'all become gods right in front of us and we sit here and become y'all slaves? You're crazy. Because that's what the absolute field means. You become a god. You be... Look, this is some shit. They don't like me talking about this. We getting all type of glitchianos. What is going... Hello? Okay. Wake up. Here we go. All right. Now here's why they are limited from the absolute field. Remember, this field is where all memories become accessible. Meaning, family, if you've been on this planet and you lived 100 lives, do you know what type of superpower you would have if you had access to all of those memories without going crazy? But you also have to start working with using more percentage of your brain. You know, we only use 9 to 11% of it consciously. So you got to work on increasing that percentage. But as you work on increasing that percentage, you can handle more. And one of the things you want to handle is the ability to access all the memories that's been associated to your consciousness. That's powerful. In this field, there is a constant refresh. It's a collective field. So all the information in the field is constantly updated. Okay? Here's the last thing. In this field, your consciousness stabilizes. It does not have to get transferred. Now, here's the reason why many of them are closed off from the absolute field. It's because they lack what we call EQ. Now, you call EQ like equalizer on a music thing, right? They don't know how to be the equalizer. But the EQ is also an abbreviation for emotional intelligence. All right? Emotional intelligence was repeatedly identified as crucial when it comes to the afterlife. Individuals with higher EQs maintain clarity during detachment. We still here? I think it's messing up again. I don't know. Let me know if it's still working. This is crazy. I guess I'm about to get out of here in a second there, because They messing up the live. They're messing up the live. Okay. All right, we good. Now I'm going to keep going. All right. Individuals with higher EQs, individuals with higher emotional intelligence, maintain clarity during detachment. So look, as you continue working on your emotional state here, it's not for no reason. You maybe question why you go through such an emotional bandwidth. Fam, it's essential. That's what you're here for. Be proud that you're surviving an emotional bandwidth upgrade. Be excited that you're handling emotional intelligence, because individuals with higher emotional intelligence don't go crazy in the afterlife. Get it? Don't go crazy in the afterlife. I don't give a fuck about what they supposedly showing you in this world right now. They're not handling what comes next. Epstein running around kitchens chasing adolescents. That's a clear indication they're not prepared for the afterlife. Individuals with higher EQs not only maintain clarity during detachment, aka don't go insane, they also can recall experiences more accurately. They experience less fear. They gain integrated insights more effectively. And those of the absolute field welcome them. Did you catch that? And those of the absolute field, the heavens, greet them, welcome them, embrace them. Fear disrupts and weakens the EQ field or your emotional intelligence. Calmness stabilizes it. You really got to work on staying calm. You think you're dealing with a lot now. Wait till you start experiencing flashing lights. Kanye's first song after his NDE. Now here's why this information has been limited to us. The document suggests concern over societal destabilization. If they discover this, they think society's going to destabilize. They believe if fear of death weakens, authority structures shift, obedience changes, and value systems reorganize. The concern was not spiritual harm, but mass psychological disruption and revolt. During large-scale trauma events, wars, disasters, shared NDE patterns were reported. Many of them had similar imagery, similar perceptions, and experienced emotional group synchronization. This suggests consciousness can synchronize under extreme conditions. Memory retention after rebirth. 1 through 7 remember the most. Remember that. They're not tripping. They're not losing it. They're not making it up. This is not their imagination. Children 1 through 7. Taxpayers paid for this, family. Use your money right. They invested millions of dollars into these operations, not for no reason. Children recall the most. Stop looking at them like they crazy. Stop looking at them like they just talking. 1 through 7. Teach your children how to speak. Teach your children how to talk. You think autism is just something that just randomly is here, or potentially was set here to prevent the children from talking? This is how deep the enemy is, y'all. Understand that. That it goes deep like that. Get these kids where they can't even express anything through 1 through 7. And for you adults who are like, dang, I want to remember, because unfortunately, after 7 years old, we enter the fragmented stage. We enter what we call the Osirian stage, where he's broken up into pieces, and you need a feminine essence or a feminine structure to put you back together again. You start entering your fragmentation. And due to fragmentation, we have to use many different modalities to be able to put ourselves back together again, like regression, like an NDE, like an OBE, outer body experience, which is what a regression can do as well. We need deep meditation. We need binaural beats. We need emotional triggers. We need phobias. We need dreams. Facts. Oh, damn. Here's the synchronization. I was just thinking about that. Right. Full recall, family. You think this is a joke. They call it total recall. The Black Crystal told you this, aka Schwarzenegger. Schwartz means crystal, Neger means black. The Black Crystal Nigger. Schwarzenegger. Alright? The Black Crystal. The Black Stone. The Black Stones. Black Stone. The Black Stone. Told you it's all about total recall. That is what we're trying to experience. Total recall. Access the sixth day. Do you ever pay attention to the names of of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies? What if I was to tell you they all come to be a message? Every movie he did comes together as a phrase or a message. Maybe I'll do that on another video. You drop too many videos in one, too many gems in one video. Alright? It blows people's minds. So you gotta slow down and give them what they can handle. So, full recall. Or total recall, all right, appears restored when you no longer slave to a physical incarnation. Bro, that's what the Matrix was about. The moment you say, I don't want to be a slave no more. I'm a slave for you. Let's spear that into your consciousness. Let's spear that in every chance we get. So when you reject this matrix, fuck, that's when total recall starts? Yes. Watch the movie. When you no longer accept this gateway program they put on you. And you're like, nah, hold on. What the fuck? Truman? See, you don't understand. You are the Truman. And if you paid attention to the Truman Show, you will realize that that Truman Show made enough money to power a country. There's certain individuals on this planet now that is so powerful, and there's so much attention on you that there are billions of dollars surrounding you while you're broke. There are billions of dollars invested into you, and you don't even know how you're going to eat tomorrow. But keep embracing this. You will never get total recall. We almost done. Last 5 minutes, y'all. So I'm going to give y'all some practical implications. These are not instructions. I'm not instructing anyone. These are just practical implications. If consciousness continues, emotional healing carries forward. Trauma loops repeat until resolved. Bonds persist beyond physical separation. Love strengthens the continuum. Family, it's called a time-space continuum. Okay? They are having a CIA document that love strengthens the continuum. If you love yourself, you'll make it through any space, through any time. If you give love to others, you'll make it through any space, through any time. How are you using your continuum? Love increases and strengthens the continuum. Fear increases your fragmentation. You're not doing something because you're scared, you're continuing your fragmentation. And I guarantee you want to try to have as much recall before you transition. So why would you keep feeding the fragmentation? Life is not meaningless. It's formative. I didn't say informative. I didn't say that. Life is not meaningless. It is formative. Nothing we've experienced in our life should suggest abandoning life. Nothing has been abandoned. It's been forgotten. And if life has been forgotten, then we got to do our best to remember. And if we're trying to remember, then maybe we got to think of life like a classroom. And that death is not the exit, but it's the hallway. Truly into the university. What matters most is not what you gain, accumulate, accumulate. It's not about gathering up all these Easter eggs, Esther. It's about what you integrate. I don't care if you got 50 coats. Show me how you can integrate 2 of these coats into your fashion. I don't care if you got 50 cars. You can only integrate 1 on the road when you're driving it. But yet they want you to think numbers more and more and more and more. You're supposed to have 30,000, 40,000 views. I don't give a fuck about 30, 40,000 views if the people watching are integrating this information into their life. I'd rather have 5,000 views of integrators than 30,000 NPCs. Do you see the difference? So I would never create something just to feed the NPCs. And if I have to feed the NPCs, please be aware and fully informed. I'm doing this so I can be here for us. But I'm into integration, family. So, if you need anything from this video, I know I said a lot. I know there was a lot in this video. I know. Just remember this. Consciousness does not end. It moves. Get in motion, family. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Till next time.